All right, folks, it is 3:30 on the dot, so let's hop into action. As always, great to have all of you along. Before I forget here, just a quick announcement. Many of you know, cool, let's see, well, hopefully Chris can keep chipping away. Maybe, Tabby, if you're talking to him elsewhere, maybe tell him to sign out everything and then retry it from the start or something. I'm not sure why it wouldn't be working. Hey, Josh, welcome. Great to have you on, man. Hope you are doing well over there on the other side of the world. Appreciate you staying up late. What is it? Is it 11:30 your time? 11:30 at night, something like that? Cool. Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate you being in here. Or Tabby, if you want, tell Chris that the live session link, it's right on the home page now, like right below my phone number. He can click it right there if he wants to as well. Thanks a lot for helping him there. Hey Leah, welcome. Great to have you along. So guys, before we hop into action, one thing I wanted to tell you. Many of you know that my wife is pregnant and we are expecting a child pretty shortly here. It could, the due date really is not for another 3 weeks, I think, but it could, you know, it really could be any time. So I want you to know, first of all, we're really excited. We've got a little girl on the way, and our son Wyatt's going to have a little sister, so we're very excited about that. And when it does happen, I'm sure I'll put something on the, you know, on the class page, so that you guys are in the loop. Gracie, we don't have a name set for sure yet, but at that time, immediately after she's born, I'm going to have a sub probably for about a week or so. So kind of keep that in mind. It'll be someone, you know, it'll be another teacher, someone who's licensed to teach English, who knows what they're doing. But during that time period, there'll be someone kind of filling my shoes that you'll be able to contact with questions about the class as needed. And all that, you'll be able to see all that information in Schoology as far as what that person's email address is, or how to message them, or whatever. And the sub may just be using my Schoology account as well. So anyway, we will see. Tabby, there will be a catch-up week after Unit 6. There's going to be a catch-up week, so you can kind of keep that in mind. But that will, you know, it depends on when the baby's born. Probably the baby will be born before that catch-up week, but you never really know. Never know when these babies pop out. So, all right, let's switch to the class stuff. Before we get to the agenda, any questions? Does anyone have something that's on your mind that you're just hoping to get answered here? Cool. Hey, Chris, looks like you got in, man. Welcome. Glad to have you along. All right, looks like there's no questions. As always, guys, interrupt me as we're going. Happy to answer questions. So take a look at this picture, guys. We are, again, on the final countdown to the inquiry-based report. This is the 4th of 4 weeks on this unit. Guys, if you're curious about why I am the way that I am, this is the kind of people who were rock stars when I was a kid. This is what they looked like back in the 80s. Had kind of a different look from today's rock stars. But anyway, the final countdown, we are rocking it into the last week of the inquiry-based report. So let's get into the details here and see what is coming our direction. Guys, as always, good to see you. Whether you're live or watching this recording later on, guys, I appreciate your hard work. I think many of you are realizing that if you want to have success in this class and in your other online classes, you really, you know, you just need to do a little bit each day, or really have some kind of plan so that you're not falling behind. And if you do fall behind, reach out to your teachers and let us know how we can help you. Hey, James, welcome. Great to have you along. Glad you're here. Gracie, great question. Live session questions. Today, there's not any. I figured with, with the report final draft, you probably had enough writing and stuff going on. So your assignment for this live session is pay attention, take notes, and really make sure that you grasp all of the stuff that's here so that you can do as well as you can on your report. Yeah, no, there's a lot going on this week as with many weeks. Guys, great week though last week on the live session questions, and also on the other things that are going on. Really enjoyed reading through your interviews. Those interview transcripts, I still haven't gotten to all of them, but the ones I've read so far, I feel like I'm going to an awesome classroom myself or something because I'm learning about all these different kinds of subjects. And you guys are going to get to share some of that with each other in the discussion this week. So something to look forward to. Just awesome, interviews about genetically modified organisms and cloning and tanning beds and, all kinds of other stuff. Facebook, it was really interesting to read those interviews, and I feel like I'm a smarter person than I was this morning, I guess. So this week, as I said, we got the final countdown. What do we have on deck? Well, there's a discussion this week. As always, please make sure you post your initial response and respond to at least 2 peers. Stagger those posts throughout the week if you would. We've got Draft 2, otherwise known here as D2. Details on Draft 2, those are in the live session from last week, so hopefully you've got those in your notes. If not, you can check out that recording for those details about what we're looking for with Draft 2. And that's due Friday. You might want to write this down in your notes. Friday as in 2 days from today. So, and the goal with that, guys, is that you're doing this paper over time. My goal is you're not sitting there at 11 o'clock the night that the final draft is due and trying to start your paper. That's not a good feeling, and it doesn't produce good work. So please stagger your work, turn in that second draft this Friday, and then you'll have time for the peer edits. You'll have time for submitting to turnitin.com, and you'll have time to polish that final draft and get it in. So those are kind of the main chunks that we're looking at this week. Let me pause for just a minute. Any questions about any of that stuff? Tabby, good question. No, so the only thing that's due on Friday, this Friday, so 2 days from now, is just your Draft 2. Yeah, so only Draft 2 is due on Friday, and then all of the other stuff is due at the end of the week, next Tuesday. Yeah, sorry about that. No. And I think as always, I think if you spread out your work throughout the week, that it'll be more than manageable, especially if you're on pace as far as doing your interview, gathering your sources. You've already got the works cited out of the way. Hopefully that's a good feeling. I know many times it's like you finish your final draft and you're trying to crank out that works cited at the last second. I'm hoping, guys, that by doing the works cited ahead of time, that's one less thing to do kind of down the home stretch. All right, few details. So as we look ahead to the final paper, and we'll look at some of those details along with the rubric very shortly. Few details for this paper. Please make sure that you have either quotes or facts or both from all of your sources. So each of your sources needs to appear somewhere in the essay. You've got your interview, you've got your media piece, you've got those 2 document sources, and then you've got the 2 articles that you found in research databases. So please make sure that all of these are included directly in your inquiry-based report with either a quote or a fact, and in both of those cases you'd have an internal reference. Please also make sure that you're using MLA formatting throughout the paper, so that double space, size 12, Times New Roman, and again, if you look in the session, that file with the example MLA formatting, that Purdue OWL document, that's in there a number of times throughout your sessions. Let's see, questions about that stuff. Let's see, we got one coming in here. So Josh, great question. He said, what if some of the sources didn't have any good quotes, just general information? Josh, so great point. So in that case, you know, if you don't want to use a direct quote, then somewhere that you've taken information from that source, include that internal reference. So whatever information it is that you get from that source, you know, maybe you, let's say, I think, Josh, you were doing the indie developers. You know, let's say one of your sources said the average salary is blah, 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 or something like that. I'm just making this up. You don't necessarily have to use a direct quote, but please put an internal reference to say where you got that source from. So that would be kind of like using an internal reference for a fact or a paraphrase. So does that kind of make sense, Josh? Cool. And if you look, Josh, back at that Purdue OWL document, you know, the example document, if you scroll through that, you'll see a number of places where there's not a direct quote, but they've cited some facts. All right, a couple more questions. Tabby, yes, the whole paper should be MLA formatted. So it's double-spaced, size 12, Times New Roman, etc. You know, like you do for most academic essays. I know that this inquiry-based report, the genre, you know, it's typically something you'd see like in a newspaper or something where they wouldn't use double spacing, but since we're doing it within the academic realm here, we want to stick to MLA formatting. So yeah, good question on that. And Gracie, as far as pages, you know, the recommendation we're saying is approximately 2 to 3 pages here. If you go a little bit above that, that's okay, but you know, definitely don't kill yourself by writing 10 pages about this or something. The goal is to, you know, really try to hit this genre in a paper of approximately that length. Let's see. Tabby says, should we double space before writing or after? I would, you know, Tabby, I would just set the document to double spacing so that it's double spaced as you're typing it along. That would be my recommendation. You don't, you know, if you write the paper and then you go through and press return every single line, that just seems like a waste of time. If you go into the settings on Microsoft Word, I think it's in maybe format and then paragraph, you can just set it to double spacing. So that's what I would do, is just set it to that ahead of time. Great questions coming in, guys. Keep them coming. Hey, Shane, welcome. Great to have you along, man. Glad you are here. All right, keep rolling down the agenda. As always, keep in touch and ask for help. And ask for help before 11:55 p.m. on the due date, okay? Guys, at 11:55 on the due date, I'm going to be sleeping. You may have noticed I go to bed early. I go to bed at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock because I also get up very early in the morning. So don't ask for help in the last 5 minutes because I won't be there. But if you ask me for help, you know, today or tomorrow or on Friday or whatever, you know, I may not get back to you over the weekend, but I'll get back to you on Monday, okay? So ask for help early rather than at the very end. Thinking a little bit ahead, we'll start Unit 6, Diversity of Argument, next Wednesday. Let's see. Oh, man. Josh, you're late to bed and late to awake, huh? Sounds like we're on the opposite schedule. Whatever works for you. But I guess it gets you to the live session here when it's almost midnight your time. And final notes here, pay attention to the rubric. Okay, I'm going to show you in a minute where the rubric is for this paper. Please pay attention. And it's just about time to take a look. We'll also take a look at databases. There's been some questions on how to use those. Many people are doing well. Few people still have questions, so let's look at those real quick. As I'm loading the sharing of the screen, any questions? Any questions that come to your mind as we are transitioning here. Tabby, no live session questions today. Shane, no live session questions today. We have covered a few things, Shane, earlier in the live session, so you probably want to watch the recording of the first half of it. All right, let's take a real quick look at database sources. So here's what you do in a nutshell. And guys, this is covered very in detail in session 2, but I'll also show you right now. So here's what I would do. Yes, Gracie, when you're a teacher, you have a constant stream of things to grade and respond to and everything. It's part of the deal. All right, so here's what I would do. In Google, I would search for Jeffco Public Library. First thing that comes up right here. This is the Jeffco Public Library website. We'll click on this top one, and guys, hopefully this is review, but if you haven't done it yet, follow along. Maybe watch this later, kind of with pausing along the way. We'll go to Research Tools, and then to Subscription Databases, A to Z. I'm going to click on that. Cool, Gina, glad you went to the library, guys. I'm telling you, libraries are awesome. Lots of good stuff there, great place to get work done, nice quiet environment. And guys, librarians, if you're doing research, ask a librarian. There's a reason that librarians are librarians, and it's because they know how to use libraries. They're really good at research. If you're ever curious and you can't figure something out, ask a librarian. I'm telling you, they're awesome. I ask librarians all the time. Nice. Glad you guys like the cards there. I used to have the polar bear one, and now I've just got kind of a generic one. So anyway, now databases A to Z. You're now in the actual databases. If you scroll down, you see there's a whole bunch of different databases. I'd recommend a couple of things. First of all, let's say maybe you're doing science, like a science topic. Maybe you would start with S and go to one of the science databases. Maybe you're doing like something with literature, you'd go to L. If you're doing almost any topic, you can start with this top one, Academic Search Premier. This is a really good database. It's the one I use most often for my own research. Click on the top. Right here, this is where you put in your library card number and your name. If you're like me, you use this site so much that you remember your library card number. And if not, you look at your card. And also you can use that temporary library card number as well. Remember back in our session there was a link to a temporary library card number. You can use that as well. Okay, so now we're actually in the database. Let's say, hypothetically, maybe I was looking at tanning beds and how you know, did they have negative effects or something? I'm just going to type in tanning bed and hit search, and we'll see what happens. Boom, here we go. We got a whole bunch of articles about tanning beds. This is the second one. This sounds really good. It talks about skin cancer, the science behind it, all that kind of stuff. Then you have a few options. You can click on the title of the article right here. You can also, what I would recommend, this one right here, it says PDF full text. Ooh, Josh, Mythbusters, that could be a cool media source. So you can click on this PDF full text and then actually download the full document, and then right here on the side, this thing that says email, once this loads, you can click on email and email this to your email so that you have the article. So guys, in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're looking at with using the databases for research. Please make sure you use that Jeffco Public Library. Lots of good stuff there. And again, you need 2 sources from databases. So like we got a couple questions come in here. I will let's see. Oh, cool. We got the side conversation going on with tanning beds. All right, just so you know, I never go to tanning beds. Well, I don't have any reason to go to a tanning bed, actually. All right, okay, back to our class. When you log in, land on updates. Please, please, please make sure you read these updates. I know I say it every week. That's because it's important. Please make sure you read those. Then click on materials. I also tell you this every week because this is very important. Then click on English 10 second semester. Please make sure you're accessing the curriculum in this order. Here we are, Unit 5. You can see by looking at the dates, we are now in Session 4, the final session of Unit 5. So we'll click on Unit 5. We now see the previous sessions. If you need to go back and do some, if you have some zeros or something, please turn in that work. You can still get some credit for it, so you really want to do that. And if you're not going to be able to skip to the final report if you haven't done all of the previous work. All right, scrolling down a little bit here, a couple of documents, reminders. I'm posting these things all over the place because I think it's important. Here's the MLA paper example. You can look at that. Here's the works cited examples. Here are some online resources for students if you want to try other databases. I would just use the Jeffco Public Library. But anyway, these two documents, you may very well want to use those. Again, recommended timeline for the week right here as well. So let's take a look at Session 4. Okay, if we scan over kind of the overall stuff to do, we see we've got a discussion. We see we've got Draft 2. Again, that's due on Friday. You want to look at last week's live session, or hopefully your notes from last week's live session about what we're looking for in Draft 2. Peer editing, highly recommended. Give that a shot. And then into the final draft. And please make sure that, as always, you submit to turnitin.com. I've been talking a lot here. Let me pause for a minute. Questions, comments. What are you thinking? What's on your mind? Everyone's still here. No one out in the world of Facebook? If you're out in the world of Facebook, come back to our world because this is going to be important here. Let's take a look at the slide that says Final Draft. Inquiry-based report. Wow, look at that. That look tasty to anyone out there? Tell you what, it looks tasty to me. Yes, Josh. When I was in Hungary, I was hungry for something like this. All right, and guys, the point is here: if you've been following along and staying up to date on our work and doing the drafts, the final draft hopefully should be kind of a piece of cake. It should be fairly straightforward. Features of the final draft. So, a superb 2-page inquiry-based report that utilizes information from the sources you have researched, including 2 articles from databases, an interview, 2 documents, and a media piece. 2 to 5 direct quotes or facts from each source, plus citations are required. And you remember citations, we're talking about typically author and page number. And if the author is not present, then it's the first word of the work cited plus the page number. Guys, I know this is a lot of details, and give it your best shot. If you're not sure how to do an internal reference or works cited entry or something, ask me. Okay, just send me a quick message on Schoology, and we'll get it figured out together. So a few other things. Remember, we got a solid thesis. We've got expository writing in this case. We've got the interview, database number 1, database number 2. You got your 2 document sources. We've got the media piece. We've got internal references, MLA format, and the works cited. We've got all of these pieces present here. Let's also take a look. I know 4 o'clock's coming. Everyone's getting hungry, excited for snacks and stuff. If we look a little bit ahead, here's the page where the final inquiry-based report is submitted. Right here, this is the rubric. This one right here, actually there's a couple things on this page. These two, these example papers, this is a paper that was done by a student and examples of how that student did on grades. So you may want to look at that. Okay, that could be very powerful to look at. Also, you definitely want to look at this one. I hit view so it'll pop up. This is the rubric. Okay, this is the rubric, guys, of how you will be graded on this paper. Please make sure that you look at this very clearly. If I was doing this, I would probably print out this rubric and then have it next to me as I'm doing my paper, and I'd kind of check things off as I go. And you're right, Gracie, it is a little bit different from the past rubric. We're kind of trying out this one. This one is actually really specific to this paper. It's actually specific to inquiry-based reports. So we're going to give this a shot and see how it looks. And I've actually loaded this rubric into Turnitin.com so that I can put your grade in Turnitin.com with the rubric. You'll be going to Turnitin.com to actually get the feedback this time around. We'll give it a shot. So make sure that you read closely down these things. I would read, especially read this advanced column, because hopefully that's your goal. That's your goal here. Tabby, do you have to do your estimates for scores? I don't think I put in there that it was required this time. I'd recommend it. You know, at the end of your paper, read through this rubric and give yourself some score estimates, but it's not required this time. Let's look at this one right here. So this is organization skills. Here's a good thing to keep in mind. A report is characterized by a thorough, balanced, in-depth explanation of the topic, incorporating multiple types of evidence sources. The writing makes connections and shared insights. Okay, great thing to keep in mind. So did you give a good overview of the source? Let's go down to the category of the composing skills. Let's look at the top one right here. The writing is enhanced by specific, precise words appropriate for the topic, issue, and audience. This establishes further the writer's credibility. If appropriate, technical, content-specific, or little-known words are explained or defined. Okay, good thing to do if you have kind of challenging words in there. Maybe explain those. Let's go down to conventions. Great one to keep in mind. In-text citations and works cited page clearly communicate needed information to the audience. Okay, so these are the things we've been talking about not only last semester, but also a lot in the last couple weeks. So please keep those in mind as well. Here's another good one. Sentences are intentionally varied, enhancing both the meaning and tone of the piece. So anyway, guys, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you because, again, that's your job is to, like I said, I'd print this out or at least have it open on your screen so you can refer to it. This rubric is very, very important. All right, guys, English 10, final moments here. Questions, comments, thoughts. We're getting into the final countdown of the unit. How can I help you here? What's on your mind? Cool. Gracie and everyone else, I will pass that on. She's definitely very excited. She's feeling pretty good overall. All right, guys, in that case, English 10, you are welcome to roll out of here. And yes, Josh, I think it'll be cool this week, you know, on that discussion board to share some of this stuff with each other as well. I'm definitely really looking forward to that as well. All right, guys, English 10, have a good one. Tabby, we'll see you later. Guys, enjoy the afternoon. English 9 will be rolling here momentarily. All right, guys, English 9, great to have you along. We've got Cameron, we got Darian, we got Maverick, we've got, let's see, other people coming in here as well. As always, folks, great to have you along. Appreciate your hard work. Raiden, welcome. Glad to have you along here. All right, guys, let's just hop right into action. English 9 live session, end of January. Hey, take a look at this picture here. A couple of very influential people. One kind of from a contemporary generation, one from a previous generation, but a couple of guys who have done a lot to advance peace in the world, and also both Nobel Prize winners right here, Obama and Wiesel. Let's see, before we hop into action, any questions, anything that's kind of on your mind that you're burning to ask about as we get into the final week here of the night unit? Oh, Cameron, great question. So he says, I was wondering exactly what you wanted for the night timeline. So, Cameron, really what we're going for that is, I would say, make a list of all the things that you need to do this week, and then put those on a calendar as far as what is your plan. So you could say, okay, well, start today, Wednesday the 30th. I'm going to do this and this, and I think it'll take this amount of time. And then on Thursday, I think I'm going to do this and this. On Friday, I think I'm going to do this. So kind of, you know how most weeks I provide a recommended timeline for you. I thought this week it'd be good practice to have you make your own timeline to kind of get in the habit. Guys, that's my recommendation is that every week for all your classes, you should be making some kind of plan for the week to stay on top of your work. So anyway, Cameron, great question there. All right, let's get into the details here. And guys, as always, you are welcome to interrupt me with questions anytime. Oh yeah, before I forget, I've told many people this already, but you may not know. My wife is pregnant, and we are expecting a baby sometime in the next few weeks here. Hey Vanessa, welcome. Great to have you along. I hope you're doing well today, and appreciate you joining us. So we've got a little girl on the way. Thanks, Cameron. Yeah, we are. We're really looking forward to it. We've got a little girl on the way. The official due date is somewhere around 3 or 4 weeks from now. But the reason that I'm telling you now is, you never know with babies. She could be born in the next couple of days. She could be born in a month. We're not sure. So I want you to know that when the baby is born, I'm not going to be working probably for about a week, somewhere around 5 school days. I won't be working, and during that time, I'm going to have a substitute teacher. I know it's kind of a funky concept, an online substitute teacher, but someone else, I'm not sure who it is yet, but it'll be someone who knows about English, who knows about the curriculum, hopefully knows how to use Schoology well, those kind of things. Someone else will be filling my place, and he or she will be the person who's interacting with you, as far as answering your questions and that kind of stuff. So just kind of keep that on the on the horizon. Probably I'll put some kind of update on the class thing about we have a baby and this is her name and stuff. Cameron, we don't know her name for sure. So we need to decide, and then you'll find out when she's born. But anyway, you'll get that notification, and then at that time, like I said, someone else will be doing my job for somewhere around a week or so there. So just kind of keep that in mind. The fact that I'm not here doesn't mean I don't care about you or don't value my job or something, but it's I need to be there for my family, and really the first week of having a new baby is a really special time for a family, and it's something that I want to be fully present for. So kind of keep that in mind. That's on the horizon. Any questions about that, or how to plan out for it, or anything along those lines? Alrighty, in that case, let's keep on rolling here. As always, guys, good to see you. Whether you're watching this live and participating or watching the recording later on, I'm glad that you're here. Watching these live sessions is very important. Lots of good content, and I think you'd really be confused without them. So I appreciate your hard work. Appreciate you taking the time on this. Dialectical journals, guys. I've read through a good deal of those, still have a few more to read through. Awesome job on those. Lots of people just taking great notes, noting down a quote from the book and then your reaction to the quote. Seriously, awesome job. And I'm telling you guys, this reading skill that you're using there, it's one way to actively read and read for detail. This is a very important skill that you can apply in your other classes. You can apply it later on in high school or in college or whatever you do. It's very helpful. And here's what's the best thing. This week, when you get into actually writing an essay and doing a final project, you have all of your quotes. Everything you need is already right there. You don't have to go back to the book and try to remember, oh, where did this happen or where did that happen? You've got everything right there. So in the long run, you'll be saving yourself time. So really, give yourself a little high five, or in this case, here we go. Here's the applause. Well, let's see. Trying to get applause to show up on the screen here. Yeah, it's coming. Yep. How about a smiley face? There you go. Anyway, applause, smiley face, whatever, guys. Appreciate your hard work on that. Good job with it. Let's see. Deal of the century. It's not too late to start. Guys, this is a technique for staying on time, not falling behind. Highly recommend it. If you're not sure what I'm talking about here, shoot me a message in Schoology, and I will tell you all about it. It's an important program. So this week, here's what we have coming ahead. Get ready to write this down. Get ready to write this down. Give me a little yes if you are still present and actively listening. You guys see those little check marks up there? Everyone dial in here. Tell me that you're with us. Tell me that you're not out there in the world of Facebook or someone else. Cool. Looks like just about everyone's here. Thanks, guys. So we've got the Session 4 project. This includes an essay, an art piece, and a choice component. This is kind of our final project for the night unit. Hopefully you've got a chance to preview that. If not, no worries, because we will be checking out the details momentarily. Few things to keep in mind. I would recommend putting these things in your notes right here. Put these in your notes. For the body paragraphs of your essay, you'll be doing a 5-paragraph essay for this unit. I recommend using point evidence analysis. We've talked about this format before. You make a point, support it with some evidence, and then include some analysis. And in other words, when we say analysis, we mean, okay, why was it important? What are the implications? Sort of what's the point? And I would recommend using the Whopper paragraph format for those body paragraphs. I'll show you in a minute where that template can be found. Any questions about the Whopper paragraph format or point evidence analysis? Cameron, no live session questions today. I figured kind of with the final unit or session here with the paper and stuff, you probably got enough writing anyway. So just stay dialed in and make sure that you apply this stuff. Great question. All right, timeline. As Cameron mentioned earlier, the first thing you'll be doing this week is creating your own timeline for the week. Please take note, that's due on Friday. In other words, 2 days from today. The timeline is due Friday, February 1st. Please put that in your notes. Write it on your calendar right now. You'll need to do a works cited in MLA format. I'll show you some examples of that in just a minute here. And like I said, you'll also have an art component. And guys, with the art component, you got a lot of choice on this. You know, when I personally, I'm not like an excellent artist if I'm drawing by hand. So if I was doing this, I might use some other kind of medium. I might use like a computer-based program to do my art component, or maybe it's kind of something that incorporates photography as art. You know, when we're talking art here, it doesn't. If you want to sit down and create some art by hand, that can be great. But if you want to use a different medium or something that's computer-based or really whatever to create an artistic piece, that's just fine as well. Okay, so please keep that in mind when I say art. You've got some flexibility on exactly what mediums you use for that. Darian, great question. What format do you want the timeline in? Really, Darian, it's whatever works for you. You know, if you want to write stuff down in a planner and take a picture of that or scan it in, that's just fine with me. If you want to write out just a list of kind of, you know, like I write out typically in the recommended timeline, you can do that. It's your choice exactly what it looks like, but you need to make sure you're including all the things that need to be done when you plan on doing them, and then also maybe estimate how much time you think each one is going to take. Any other questions about any of that stuff? All right, very shortly we will be looking at the curriculum for this week. But first of all, guys, real quick preview. A week from today, we'll start Unit 6. It's the definition essay. It's kind of a fun, creative unit. In a nutshell, you will be writing an essay on a certain word and the definition of it. It's kind of neat. It's unique. It's interesting. So yeah, that's a look forward to. And once again, you'll have quite a bit of choice in exactly what you want to write about. So maybe kind of keep that in mind. All right, let's transition here into a look at the curriculum for the week. So each time you join the class, and guys, I'm going to say this, say it again, I say it every week, and that's because it's very important. When you log into the class, please read everything on this updates page. There's a lot of important information. Please make sure you are looking at these. From here, go to materials. I tell you this every week as well because it's absolutely essential, and some people still aren't doing it. Go to materials. We got a couple folders here. In this office hours and live sessions one, that's one of the places that you can get to recordings of live sessions. Another place is I post them on the updates page as well, and I usually send them out to you in a message as well to make sure that you're looking at those. So those are there. And then English 9 Semester 2, this is how you get into the actual curriculum. Here we are, Unit 5. We're wrapping up Unit 5. We are at Unit 5, Session 4. It runs from today, which is January 30th, through next Tuesday, February 5th. Man, February already. We are cranking along. So let's click on that. You can see there's the previous sessions with Knight. Guys, if there's something that you're missing from a previous session, turn that in. Excuse me. You can still get some credit for those late items, so please turn those in. And if you have questions about them, ask me. We are on session 4 this week, so click on session 4. My recommendation the first time that you view this curriculum is, okay, let's scan over, let's see everything that's coming this week, and then you want to read it page by page in order. So you can see, okay, night reading schedule. Well, I've seen that before. You should be done with the book. If you're not, finish it ASAP. Welcome to the final week. Night project, well, that's probably going to explain what the project is. 5-paragraph essay, we got some notes there on 5-paragraph essay structure. And those really go with the live session from last week. You should have that stuff in your notes already anyway. We got the night project timeline. We got a discussion. This is where you'll share your art piece as well. And then down here we've got a couple of files. This one is an example MLA paper. Shows you what MLA format looks like. And we've also got some works cited examples. So please make sure that you are looking at those as well. We've got turnitin.com. So if you were in the class last semester, you remember submitting papers to turnitin.com. Same system this semester. If you're new this semester, guys, read everything on this slide very closely, and it'll tell you how to submit your paper to turnitin.com. I will not be grading your paper unless it's been submitted to turnitin.com. So please make sure you're checking that. We got the final night project. This is where you'll submit it to Schoology and the end of the session. So that's kind of a preview of what's coming. After you've previewed it like that, then you want to really click through every single page in order, and we'll do that in just a minute. But first, questions. What questions do you have? What are you curious about here? Guys, no question is a bad question. And please know, everyone, just throughout the week as you're working, reach out to me and ask questions. Shoot me a question on Schoology. Shoot me a text message. Pick up that thing called the telephone and give me a call. Guys, it's amazing in a 2-minute conversation the things that we can get figured out on the phone. So don't forget about the phone. My phone number is right here, right where it's always been, okay? Please feel free to call me on that. All right, let's look at these page by page. So we'll start at the top. Night reading schedule. I really threw this in there just kind of as an overall schedule. You can see this week, wrap up paper and project. Okay, hit next. This next button is your friend. Wrapping up the unit. So here are some details on what's coming, how to wrap up the unit, project guidelines. I also put right here, here's a video about Turnitin.com. Please make sure you watch this just so you kind of have a feeling of how Turnitin.com is going to be used here. Hit next again. Here is the night project. My advice, guys, is print this. Pause for just a minute. Write down in your notes to print this, or at least download it. If you click download here, you can save this file. This will explain what's going on in the project. Hey, Maddie, welcome. Great to have you along here. So we've got an academic part. This is the essay. The essay that I'm assigning, guys, it's associated with something called the Holocaust Remembrance Project. So if you click on this link, this will take you to that project. And actually, it looks like through Schoology you can't click on it directly. You'll need to download the paper or download the file and then click on the link, and that will take you to really the details about the essay. If you want to submit your essay to the actual essay contest, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Okay, you only have to submit your essay to me. But if you also want to submit it to this whole external essay contest, now I would recommend you do it just because it's a cool thing to do. Do that. Okay, so basically, your goal here is you're interpreting the theme of night, and you can see more details about it on that page. All right, the part B of your project. Part B is the art piece. A temporary gallery will be set up online, and this is really through the discussion board that you'll see in a minute. You'll put your art on the discussion board. A few recommendations here. Create an art piece that will educate future generations of the Holocaust. The only limit is your imagination. If you want to think about existing memorials as a guideline, you could do that. Things like the Vietnam Memorial, the World Trade Center Memorial, those kind of things. And again, you can use whatever medium you want. You can do by hand, computer program. You can use another medium. So Maddie, I think maybe that answers your question. You are creating an art piece. And it could, you know, one possibility is you could even make kind of, let's say, an artistic collage. Maybe you go out and you get a bunch of images and combine those into some kind of creative art collage. And this should, my recommendation, guys, on this art piece, I'd say you're taking probably about half an hour on it. Okay, put that in your notes. We're talking about probably 30 minutes on this art piece. So if you want to take more than 30 minutes, if you really get into it, you can, but you're not required to do more than 30 minutes. That said, you should do at least 30 minutes, okay? Don't just try to throw something together in 5 minutes just to get it done. Take 30 minutes. You'll put that art piece on the discussion board. Let me pause for a minute. Any questions about these parts A and or B of the project? And again, as questions come up throughout the week, ask me those questions. I'm always happy to answer them. Guys, try not to ask me questions like at 11:55 on the night that the project is due. Because at 11:55 on the night that the project is due, I'm going to be sleeping. I typically go to bed very early, and I like to get up very early. So if you want to ask questions, ask them well in advance so that I can help you. Okay, finally, part C, the choice part. You got a lot of choice in this. You're looking at a minimum of a page-long response on one of the following. You got a number of choices. Conduct an interview with someone who is involved in World War II. Write a poem about Wiesel's experience. Create a timeline of events of the developments of World War II. And guys, these could be good connections to your history class, potentially. Map of the journey that he goes through during the novel, or a musical connection, creating some kind of a handout or something about how musical lyrics relate to the theme of night. And I'll also throw out, guys, let's say if you're looking at part C here and you think you have something in mind that would be along these lines and could be just as good, let me know, okay? Send me a message on Schoology or pick up the phone and call me. If you want to propose something else to do, propose it to me, and maybe you can do that, okay? So that's kind of what we're looking at for the elements of the project. And again, to clarify, part B, this art part, you're going to put that onto the discussion board, and then parts A and C, those will be turned in the Schoology Dropbox and also to turnitin.com. So really parts A and C, you're going to want to put those in the same document. Okay, maybe pause for a minute, write that in your notes. Parts A and C, you want to put those in the same document to turn in. Vanessa, no live session questions today. All right, before we go to the next slide, any questions about any of that stuff? All right, next button. Remember, next button is your friend. Here are some notes on 5-paragraph essays. This is what we went over last week in the live session, so you should have notes on this. But I wanted to put this on here as well. Here's background on writing a controlling statement on how to set up your essay on the right-hand side. And we've also got two documents here. Here's an example of a very good 5-paragraph essay. So you may want to read that. This is a student who is a senior in high school, wrote a very good essay on a different topic, but if you're curious what does a good 5-paragraph essay look like, read that. And then we've also got the Whopper paragraph template. If I was you, I would use this template. This uses point evidence analysis. I would use this template to do your body paragraphs. And if you have any questions about how that works, let me know. All right, any questions about any of that? Okay, again, use the next button. Here's where you will submit your timeline. Again, do that by Friday. Here is the discussion board. This is where you share your night art piece. So please make sure that you get this on here. We've already got one on there. Victoria really made a very cool art piece, and I think she said she did this simply with markers. I thought it was really cool, kind of a cool contrast of different ideological symbols on the black background, kind of reminiscent of nighttime, really. I thought it was great. I think Victoria really got it started with a good piece here. All right, next button. Again, this is an example of MLA formatting. I've shown this before, and I'm showing it again because it's very helpful in showing how you need to use spacing and everything else. If you scroll down to page 12 of this document, you'll see an example works cited. Check out the spacing here. Check out that the entries are alphabetized. Each entry, the first line is all the way to the left, and subsequent lines are indented. There's also a bunch of notes on the side. Guys, I've gone over this stuff many times before, so I'm not spending a ton of time on it, but know that this is here so you can look at it as an example. Next page, this is actual examples of how to do the work cited. So this shows, okay, you've got a source, it was a website, and here's an example website entry. We've got books, we've got all kinds of stuff on here. Okay, use this often. I would also say for the works cited, if you want to use a source something like EasyBib or one of those programs, you can try using that, but whatever comes out, please compare it to this example that you have here, because this is what's going to be graded. Next page, turnitin.com. We've got a bunch of videos here about how to use it, how to set up a profile, how to submit your paper. Any questions about turnitin.com just as you are watching this? All right, looks like we are looking good there. And then finally, the page where you will turn in your paper. And please take a look here. This is the rubric that will be used to grade your paper. I highly recommend printing this out and making sure that you are doing these things in your paper. So we've got different areas. We've got focus, development, audience, cohesion, language, and style. Please take a look at these, and what I would do is even use this kind of as a checklist as you're writing your paper. So for the focus, text clearly focuses on a compelling topic that informs the reader with ideas, concepts, and information. Development, text provides significant facts, definitions, concrete details, quotations. Okay, guys, so please look at this rubric and make sure that you are following it very closely. And that will bring you to the end of the session. So, English 9, questions, comments, thoughts. What are you guys thinking? What's on your mind? Anything that you're nervous about for this week or not sure of for this week? Please keep in mind, like I said, the timeline for the week is due by Friday. I would say, honestly, if I was doing this, I would make that timeline sometime before going to bed tonight so that you know what your plan for the whole week is. All right, guys, in that case, English 9, thank you for being dialed in. I appreciate your hard work. Please know I am here to help you and communicate with you. We'll be in touch, and good luck down the home stretch here. All righty, see you later, Cameron.